My name is Amber, and I am a certified yoga instructor at the University of Cincinnati. And today we're here for some relaxation yoga, specifically to help us nurture ourselves and our own mental and physical inner peace and well-being inside and out. So just take really good care of mind and body. So if you're in for some gentle stretches, some floor work, and some relaxation, and taking some time out, that all important precious me time, so that you can be the best that you can be in all other facets of your life, because you took this time to slow down and tune in and take care of you, then this practice is for you. So let's come over to our yoga mat over here. Now sometimes we oftentimes use props in my relaxation yoga classes. In this class there will be options for props, but I tried to set this one up to make it accessible for those of you, for people practicing at home who may or may not have the items, that you don't really need a lot of props for today's practice. So the main thing you'll need today is, last week, if you joined me for last week's practice, we used a scarf, just kind of with fall, the beginning of fall and the change of seasons. It felt fitting and like it would be fun. So maybe grab your favorite fall scarf that maybe you got out for this time of the year, and bring it to the yoga practice. So I would like you to have a scarf. If you don't have a scarf, a belt or a yoga strap for that matter can work as well. I'm going to be using my scarf today. So you want to have a scarf. If you really don't have a scarf or belt or anything, you can still do this practice, but if you can, a scarf would be really good to have. The other things would just be optional blankets, pillows, things like that. Anything that sounds good to you, anything that feels comforting to you. For the practice, you can bring to your mat, but you don't have to have anything per se, other than your mat and ideally a scarf. So we're going to start by finding a comfortable seat, whatever that is for you. I'm going to sit on my yoga bolster and my blanket today. I find sometimes sitting on a blanket or pillow or something to elevate your hips can make it more comfortable or easier to find a comfortable seat. So if that sounds good to you, you can give it a try. You can just grab any blanket or pillow to sit on, or you can just simply sit on your mat. As always, a reminder to take your time and practice with care. You can always stop to take a drink of water or anything like that if you would like at any time. So let's find a comfortable seat, whatever that is for you. Try to find a really good posture with your upright spine, so kind of your head lengthens up, sitting up tall, but your sitting bones are still rooted down, and then just soften everything a little bit. So sitting up tall, being intentional about having that good posture, but then also letting it relax, letting it soften. So not being too stiff or too rigid with your form. Let your shoulders relax down away from your ears. If you have socks on, go ahead and take those off for right now. And then after we do our downward dog and some of our warm-up practice, then you can put your socks back on if you'd like. But for right now, just finding the seat, you can keep your eyes open or you might allow them to close. And just take a few moments of stillness. A few moments to come to your mat. Go away from whatever else you had going on around you before this. And just try to acknowledge that you're carving out this time to be in the yoga practice, not to be off somewhere else, okay? Let's start to come to the breath, start to connect to the breath. Gently breathe in and out through your nose. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. And breathe out. Just try your best to stay with a steady, rhythmic breath today throughout your practice. The 4-count breath is a starting point, and for 3 or 5-count breath feels more natural to you, that's fine as well. The idea is to just try to keep that steady How can you be present and nurturing to yourself? And recognize that it's not selfish, it's not unproductive to take time to slow down and take care of yourself. Taking this time to take care of yourself and to nurture you is going to make you all the more energetic and pleasant to be around for everyone else around you. Just take a moment. Consider how you might be able to take what you need from this practice. We get really cozy and nurture ourselves. Create a nice, warm, comfy space today on the mat. So you stay with this breath and this intention. If your eyes are closed, you may begin to open them. We'll just start with some little warm-up movements and stretches here. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Stretch your fingertips up towards the sky. Reach up as high as you can. Really lengthen your spine. Exhale, send your left hand down to the floor. Right arm reaches up and over. Side body stretch. Try to really keep that right hip rooted down towards the floor alongside your left. Sometimes I like to pop up and take one more breath in. And out. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, take it to the other side. Take a couple of breaths here. Let it feel good. Inhale, come back up again. And exhale, this time take your hands behind you. Walk your hands up behind you, shoulders over your wrist. And try to, well, first just try to walk your shoulder blades closer together. You can have your palms down on the floor, or you can come onto your fingertips here. Try to see if you can walk your shoulder blades closer together. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, puff up your chest, open your chest. Option one is to stay here. Or if you want, you could play with lifting your hips up. And it's going to take you a little deeper into a back bend. Maybe you can tilt your head back here and lift your hips up. Take a breath in and out. And then exhale, start to lower your hips down. If you lifted them, gently start to come back up to your seat where we started. Let's roll your shoulders up by your ears. Roll them down and back. And just do that a few more times. Just kind of releasing, tuning into any stiffness, anything that we don't let go. Release in our bodies. And allow your shoulder blades to relax down your back. Inhale, tilt your chin up towards the sky. Stretch along the front of your neck. Next breath in, we'll come back to center, or back to neutral. Exhale, your chin to your chest, chest to your chin. Shoulders still relaxed down away from your ears. This time stretching along the back of your neck. Still keeping that good posture, upright spine. Breathe in. As you breathe out, just begin to gently slide your chin over to one side. Just kind of pause there. Maybe tilt a little more back if and only if that feels good to you. Just gently slide your chin from side to side. So little half rolls, half circles here. And there is no rush. So just be very gentle with it. Take your time. Notice anywhere that might feel tight in your neck. Eventually, you'll make your way back down through center and just lift your chin back up to neutral. And then from here, we'll scoot off. If you're sitting on a blanket or pillow or anything, we'll just kind of scoot off of that and set it off to the side. And slide your feet behind you. Make your way onto your hands and knees for your tabletop. So fingers spread wide, shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees, the flat back. From here, we'll practice some cat and cow, one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, start to look forward, sway forward into your cow, and exhale, navel to spine, round into your cow. And start to move with the breath. Inhale, 2, 3, 4 into your cow, and then exhale, 2, 3, 4 into your cow. Just a few more times, just moving at your own pace. Eventually you'll make your way back to your tabletop, back to your hands and knees. And from here, take your fingers out, shoulders over your wrists, or if you have a lot of tension in your shoulders, you can even take your hook wrist out a little bit wider than your shoulders. You can always play around with that. Fingers spread wide, curl your toes under, and lift yourself up to the upside down V with your body. Downward facing dog. We're not going to spend a lot of time in downward dog today, but just take a few moments. Even if this is your first one of the day, maybe you can walk it out a little bit, or shift your head a little from side to side or front and back, and any movements or stretches that feel good to you. And release. Navel drawn in towards your spine, shoulders relaxed. You might keep a little bend in your knees, you might straighten your legs, whatever feels good. Just take one more breath in here. And exhale, lower your knees down to the earth. At this time, we'll sink your seat to your heels for child's pose. But when you do that, different options. You don't have to have any props today. Like I said, I will show a few options so that you can play around with props if you'd like. But otherwise, just knees can be close together or apart, whatever feels best to you. And then start to lower your forehead down towards the earth. And you stretch your arms out in front of you. This will give you a really nice stretch and release through your shoulders and the upper back if you're feeling pressure there. But try to let your elbows relax down towards the floor so we're not really engaging the muscles in our arms here. Just letting it relax. Another option is you could make your own prop by forming a pillow with your hands, and you just rest your forehead on your hands like this. Just whatever feels good to you. If you have a blanket or something that you'll put in front of you, you could add that as well. Something I like to do sometimes, well, actually first I'll show you, if you have like a block or a book and you find that child's pose is not very comfortable to you, well, first off, you can skip child's pose if it really doesn't work for you. But if it kind of works, which is kind of uncomfortable, something you could do if it's hard for you to get close to the floor for child's poses, you could take, like, you could use blocks, you can even just like stack some textbooks up or something like that here, and then come down to your elbows and just let your head relax on the block or the books or whatever that you have here to kind of bring the floor up to you, but you're still in the child's pose. But just try to really make sure you keep your shoulders relaxed if you do that one. So that's an option that's available as well. Or something I like to do, and I recognize this may or may not be available to you, but you could take a bolster or you could stack some pillows. If you don't have it, just do one of the other options. Any of these are fine. It's your pick. Yogi's choice today. So I like to come down onto the bolster and just rest that way, rest my head to one side and surrender. Either way, wherever you go here, just try to relax, surrender into the pose. We're going to stay here for a couple of minutes today and just rest in the pose. Perhaps find a place of stillness. If you still have little fidgets and things like that, that's okay too. There's no pressure here. This is just meant to be time for you and your practice, whatever that looks like to you. All our practices are meant to look a little different because we're all just a little bit different, and that is part of the beauty of it. Just honor yourself. You let yourself completely let go, completely surrender into your Balasana or child's pose. Continue to breathe in, breathe out. Come back to your heart, come back to your intention. How are you nurturing yourself right now? And how throughout each day can you take little pockets within your day, even the busy ones, to nurture and care for yourself? Is there some way you can slow down and just savor that cup of coffee just a little bit more? Or stop and eat a meal and only be eating that meal and not doing anything else? Maybe it's just taking time to get a good night's sleep. Look at some of these things that may not always be possible every day, and there's no need for us to beat ourselves up over it. It's just a matter of thinking about, considering how we can be kinder to ourselves, knowing that when we're kind to ourselves, it's easier for us to also be kind to others. It's something to consider. What might you do? What little steps? Even start small. Is there something you can do for a half hour of the day to take care of you? Or even 15 minutes. Or even 5 minutes. Everything's a start. Doesn't have to be something big just to get started. Take a couple more breaths here. As you're ready, just begin to press down through the palms of your hands and start to lift yourself back up, whether you had a prop or not. If you had a prop, you can just get it out of the way, set it off to the side, or if you didn't, then no big deal. Just come back to your tabletop and make any movements that feel good to you. Maybe stretching your legs or shifting your hips from side to side. Do another downward dog if you want, or whatever your body's asking for to just kind of release from child's pose. We held for a little bit of time today, and eventually we'll meet back up in your tabletop on your hands and knees. And then from here, just slide your feet over to one side. It doesn't really matter which side it is, and we're just going to come back to a seat, maybe on a blanket, maybe not. Come back to your cross-legged seat like where we started. Sit up tall, the upright spine. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, just start to walk your hands out on the floor in front of you, coming into a seated forward fold. Any amount is fine. And make sure, of course, you don't have any pinching or pain in your back. If you get that, that means it might be time to back it up a little bit. And from here, walk your hands all over to the left for a moment. Do another side stretch. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. And then walk it back through center, over to the right. Same thing here. Breathe. Inhale, walk it back to center. And we'll pause and take about 5 breaths here. You're seated forward fold. Try to let your shoulders relax. Take this time. Forward fold's a great opportunity to look inward. What do you need right now? How do you feel? Just be present with yourself. Take time to hear yourself think. And as you're ready, next inhale, start to walk your hands back in towards your body and make your way back up to your upright spine. For a few moments, again, just make any little movements, anything here that feels good to you. Shake it out a little bit. So from here, we'll scoot off of your blanket once again if you were sitting on one. And come to a seat with your knees bent in front of you and your feet on the floor. We're going to grab that scarf if you have it. If not, I'll show some ways to kind of, some little modifications that you can play with for if you don't. But otherwise, grab your scarf and then take your arms out in front of you and just slowly engage your core a little bit, and slowly, a little bit at a time, start to lower all the way down onto your back. And when you get there, take a breather, take a couple breaths here, just let your back relax against the floor. So, grabbing our handy scarf. By the way, you can, I meant to say this before, but you can put your socks back on if you'd like at any time in the practice. I'm going to go ahead and grab mine now. We won't be doing any more downward dogs or anything really, so it should be safe for you to have socks on if you want, or feeling anytime you'll put a jacket or anything on to make sure you're plenty warm and cozy, then definitely can work. But anyway, so from here, lying on your back, bring your knee in, or bring your right knee in towards your chest for a moment, and then we're gonna take that scarf and wrap it underneath the arch or the center of your right foot. And then from here, start to extend your foot towards the ceiling, letting it rest in your scarf. Take a moment here. You might start to feel your hamstrings say hello. So you're trying to hold the strap or the scarf low enough so that your shoulders can kind of mostly relax down towards the floor. Now, ideally, we're at about a 45, what am I saying? A 90-degree angle here with the leg, but if you're not quite there yet, if you're more like this or something, that's totally fine. It just means this is a good thing for you to practice, and the good news is this one's fairly easy for people to practice at home. Now, if you don't have a scarf, what you can do instead is just pretend I don't have this on my leg or my foot right now. You can just take your hands to your hamstring or the back of your leg and point your foot up towards the ceiling, and do the stretch in that way. So, again, those are some options for you. And then from here, we're going to come back to this, but we're not going to stay here for right now. So, ideally, you're either holding the back of your leg or you have the scarf. We're going to send that leg out over to the right. Any amount's fine. So you can come here, or if you're like me and you really like to get that stretch in your inner thigh, you can come out really far. Of course, don't, if it hurts, don't do that, but a little stretch for your leg. Inhale, come back up the center, and exhale over to the left. So this is a different kind of stretch for your leg. Try to keep your hips towards the floor as best as you can. Inhale back to the center. Exhale over to the right. Just one more time on each side. Inhale back to center. Exhale over to the left. It's just some really good leg stretches. Inhale, come back to center, and then we're going to pause and stay here for about a minute, getting that stretch through your hamstring. So you want to go to where you feel a stretch here in your leg, in the back of your leg. Again, it shouldn't be pulling or feeling like any pain. We want to keep our hamstrings in place, but at the same time, if you have a lot of tension in there, that can make your legs tight. It could actually cause back pain and all kinds of things like that. So it can feel really nice to kind of release that. But again, try out the corset. Try to just let your foot relax into your arm. Again, ideally, you're holding your hands low enough on the strap that your shoulders relax. And if you're like me, something I do sometimes like to do, because I do have tight hamstrings, is I do like to sometimes take my hand a little higher just because I can bring my foot in even a little closer to my body and really get in there. If that feels like a good stretch to you, you can do that, but try to be extra mindful if you do that your shoulders are still, you're not tensing up, that you're still able to be relaxed in your shoulders. Less than a minute here, less than half a minute here, you got it. And try not to force, try to be rigid, just let your leg relax into it. And if you're, again, you can do it, take your hands to the back of your leg. If you don't have a strap, we'll take one more breath here. And then from here, let the strap go. Bring your knee back in towards your chest. And then take that right foot to your left thigh. Slide your right knee out away from your body to open up your hip. Option one is you could stay right here, going into a little bit of a reclined pigeon, if you will. Another variation of pigeon pose on the back. So you can stay here, or if you're not feeling that much of a stretch here, you want to take it a little bit deeper. Optional, you can start to lift that left foot, and with your hands reach for your hamstring, and try to relax your back and your head down to the floor. Try to keep that right knee out away from your body and both of your feet flexed. Do a little hip opener here. Just another variation of a pigeon pose, but this one does not involve compression on our knees, so it's a really good option if you're someone who maybe can't do traditional pigeon because of your knees, or because it hurts your knees. Anyway, let's take one more breath in here. And then exhale, release that front foot followed by your other foot. Let's just stretch out the legs for a moment, kind of shake them out. Maybe notice if that right leg feels a little different than the left. And then bring them back in. Do the same sequence on the other side. So grab your trusty scarf once again and bring your left knee in towards you. Take that scarf underneath your left foot and then start to extend. I'm going to adjust it. Start to extend your left foot up towards the ceiling. And then just let it rest into your scarf. Feeling that stretch along your hamstring. Again, any amount's fine. Generally your legs straight, but if your hamstring's really tight, you might feel a little micro bend in your knee, or you might just not come as far. And again, totally fine. Everyone's practice will look a little different here. Let your back stay relaxed against the floor. And then leg stretches. Let's take your leg out to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale out to the left. Any amount's fine here. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale to center. And then we pause and hold this pose for about 1 minute. Continue to breathe in. Breathe out. What was your intention today? And how good care of your body you're taking by taking the time to do these stretches to release those areas that might have tension. You can always feel free to put a blanket too, like over your belly or over your chest for extra comfort if you'd like. Take one more breath here. And let's release the strap. Bring your knee back in. And then recline pigeon on the other side. So take your left foot to your right knee. Slide that left knee out away from your body. That means the knee needs to stay away from the body. Really get the stretch. So opening in your hip, optional of course to stay right here. This is a great option. Or maybe you lift your front foot, reach forward your right hamstring, relax your head, relax your back, and just notice you getting in there, kind of getting into the little nooks and crannies of our body. What kind of things can we let go of? What kind of things can we release, both physically and mentally? What might be feeling like an extra weight or burden that might just not be necessary, that you can let go of? And how much lighter and better and more calm do you feel? What little actions can you do to take care of you? Let's take one more breath in. And exhale, release your front foot, followed by your other foot. Stretch both your legs out. Notice how it feels. You feel a little bit looser legs here. We're released. And then bend your knees once again. Take your arms this time out to a T or cactus, working with the space that you have. And then from here, we'll walk your hips just a tiny bit over to the left. Slide your knees over to the right. And then you can stay here. You can even look up towards the ceiling if you want. Or maybe you look out over your left shoulder if that feels good to you. If that creates any strain or discomfort in your neck, then no, there's no need to go there. You can just look up at the ceiling. I like to sometimes take a hand to the top knee. If you want to add props here, you can. I've talked about different things with props here before. But for those of you who don't have props, again, you don't really You can do this without props as well, just kind of using the floor as your prop or as your support. We're settling in to a recline twist, gently sink into the floor. We'll take another minute or so here. Continue to breathe in, breathe out. Find your release, nurture, and care for yourself. And then as you're ready, gently release and bring your knees back to center. And we'll do the other side so arms can stay how they are. And just slide your hips up just a tiny bit over to the right and slide your knees over to the left. And maybe take a hand to the top knee to support your knees if that is helpful to you. Maybe you look out over your right shoulder, but only if that feels good. Just let everything relax. Notice the release you might feel in your recline twist. And we'll just stay here for about a minute or so. Just hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug. Maybe rock a little bit from side to side. Just gently kneading on your back, releasing your back. Being kind to yourself and others. Come back to your intention perhaps one more time. Backs of your legs, let your feet float up towards the ceiling once again. And this time just point and flex your feet for a moment, and stretching out your feet, releasing any tension there, holding. Take one more breath in here. One more breath out. And bring your knees back in again. This time extend your legs out in front of you, stretch your feet, stretch your arms, your hands back. Body stretch, really stretch your body long. Maybe see if you can stretch your right hand and foot longer than your left. You can stretch your left hand and foot longer than your right. One big breath in through your nose. And exhale, big sigh out through your mouth. Just kind of releasing, letting go. You may make any other movements or adjustments you'd like to make to set up a relaxing space for yourself lying on your mat. So we're coming into Shavasana or corpse pose. You want to take a drink of water first or put something warmer on. Definitely take your time to do this and trust yourself that you know what you need for your self-care practice and your relaxation. Eventually grabbing any blankets or pillows that you want, making movements or adjustments to get as comfy as you can. You'll find yourself lying on your back with your legs out in front of you. Not with your phone. I just grabbed that for something I'm going to share in a little bit here. Try to let your phone be turned off or on silent for this if you can. Try to disconnect from the rest of the world. Take this time for just you. And then eventually, once you find yourself in a comfortable place lying on your back, just let your back, your shoulders sink into the floor. Rest. Your eyes gently close. You return back to your natural breath. Settle in for Shavasana Corpse pose. Please do take this time. Do not exit out of the video now. The practice is certainly not over. If anything, this is one of the most important poses of the entire practice. It gives us this time to release all physical efforts from your body and absorb the poses, the stretches, the benefits of our practice today. Give us time to just kind of absorb and assimilate that. Let yourself just be, just for these next few minutes. We're not going to stay here super long. Just give yourself a moment. So let everything go. Nurture you. Tell the crown of your head to relax. Tell your forehead, eyes, cheeks, jaws, mouth to relax. Neck, shoulders, upper back, chest, relax. Mid back, abdomen, lower back, hips, relax. Thighs, knees, calves, ankles, feet, and toes, all relaxed. Front of your body, back of your body, whole body, all relaxed. Notice back into your physical body, back into the rhythm. Eventually you'll bring your knees in toward your chest and gently roll over to your right side. Just pause here for a moment in fetal pose. We are human beings, not human doings. Let's start to act like it and take the time to simply be. Richard Branson. And mindfully begin to make your way back up to your seat. And as you do so, just take a brief moment here of gratitude towards yourself for taking this time out to nurture yourself and to come to your mat today. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. I certainly hope that you have found it to be relaxing. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye.